Good afternoon. I want to start by thanking Councilors Hall Harper, Councilor Bingle, Councilor Gilbert, and Councilor Bellis for joining myself, Police Chief Dennis Larson, and Public Safety Commissioner Laura Roberts up here this afternoon. I actually want to start this by expressing my condolences to the families that were impacted actually by the car accident on the way back from Kansas City. We lost some really special young people with a bright future ahead of them, and a couple of parents. And so I just want those folks to know that all of us here at City Hall and across the city of Tulsa as a organization, and us across the city are thinking about you and praying for you for your strength in this really, really tragic time. Obviously today we're here to talk about an event that happened this weekend and ways in which we're going to ensure that downtown is safe for events to come. You'll hear from Chief Dennis Larson in just a second on some specifics. He'll share what he can share. But I do want to make a couple things clear. First and foremost, want to thank the quick action of the officers who were downtown. I think frankly, their bravery actually ensured that things didn't get any worse than it did. And I also want to let everybody know that from everything that I've learned to this point, the shooting Saturday night was the result of a disagreement between two groups and individuals. We believe it to be isolated and does not pose a broader threat to downtown for any event upcoming or any time other downtown. I am obviously concerned, very frustrated with not only the loss of life but the chaotic scene downtown just a couple nights ago. What I think is really important, and we have to be careful of, is that we don't let events where the behavior of just a couple of folks causes all the rest of us to live in any sort of fear. We are prepared for all the events that are coming up downtown. We are prepared for this continue to be a strong center of commerce and business here in the city of Tulsa, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that citizens feel and understand that as well. So while this was a horrible, very tragic, and frankly preventable event, since I've gotten elected, we've talked about the needs that we have to make sure we're reaching out to young people in neighborhoods to mitigate these public safety challenges, because when it ends up on a street downtown, that means there's a whole bunch of things that failed us before that particular event. And so we remain committed not just to solving the very direct public safety issues like we saw on Saturday night, but very much committed to addressing the systemic issues that causes nights like that to happen in the first place. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring up Police Chief Dennis Larson. He can talk through some of the events of Saturday night as we know them and the things that we're doing right now to make sure that those involved are held accountable, and the ways in which we're going to ensure that downtown remains a safe place for all the events. The great thing about this community is a lot of people are looking at Tulsa right now for places to do business, for places to have events, and all those folks should know that we as a community are going to make sure that this remains a place that is not only safe, but the kind of place that you knew us to be, which is the best place in the country to do the things, whether it be a conference, whether it be basketball tournaments, whether it be FFA that's coming in this week, whether it be Mayfest. Tulsa and downtown Tulsa is still the destination that you want to be, and we're going to make sure that you understand how important safety is to us, as we have several times in the past. With that, Chief Dennis Larson. Yes,
sir. Well, first off, welcome everybody. It's been a very busy last 48 hours. I want to take a moment to address the recent incident that occurred downtown where 5 individuals were shot following a confrontation near 2nd and Elgin. This tragic event has understandably raised concerns of our in our community, and I believe it's important to provide some clarity on the situation. First, I want to express my deepest sympathies to the victims and their families. The ages of those affected range from 18 years old to their late 20s. And it's heartbreaking to see young lives impacted by violence. I'm deeply concerned that we have young individuals who are willing to engage in a gunfight in the presence of a large number of innocent people, with police officers literally standing feet away. The investigation of this shooting was still very active. Our homicide team will do what they do best, which is solve crimes. However, we have a reason to believe that this violent act that occurred early Sunday morning was rooted in an encounter and an ongoing argument that goes back to a homicide that occurred in 2022. In our efforts to maintain the safety within the city, we are continually monitoring events that have the potential to draw large crowds, like the one that took place this weekend. At the time of the incident, we had several officers already present on the scene, working diligently to ensure public safety and to prevent situations from escalating. Unfortunately, there are individuals who came into our city with ill intentions, and even with police presence merely feet away, decide to ignite a conflict. The swiftness of which our officers reacted, identified and apprehended the individuals responsible for the shooting, speaks to the dedication and readiness and willingness of those officers to act. They quickly halted the threat to the others, demonstrating the crucial role of law enforcement plays in protecting our community. I want to emphasize that the safety of every Tulsan is our top priority. We are committed to working closely with our community partners to assess meet the needs, not just in our business district, not just in our entertainment district, but in neighborhoods throughout the city of Tulsa. There will be times when particular areas may require increased police presence, and we are actively evaluating daily. Intelligence-led policing leads us to place sufficient number of officers present for those events to occur safely. As we move forward, it is essential for all of us, including the police, the community leaders, and the residents, to come together in fostering a safe environment. Crime prevention requires a collective approach. Where communication and cooperation between all those entities is key. We hope to continue to build the trust throughout the city, encourage openness within every community, and everyone to feel secure and supported. I urge all Tulsans to remain vigilant and report any suspicious behavior. Your partnership is vital. Your voices matter. Together we can work towards a safer Tulsa, one where young people can thrive, where violence is not the answer to conflict. Along with Mayor Nichols, Commissioner Roberts, and our council president, I'm fully committed to making Tulsa one of the safest cities in this country. We will work diligently to ensure the incident like this, that they don't go unanswered. We will prosecute those who are responsible and hold them accountable to the law. Before I open it for questions, let me just state that the incident Sunday night is still an active homicide investigation, so there's going to be limited things that I can talk about with an open investigation that had not been placed on the district attorney's desk yet. With that, questions?
Real quick.
Well-
What's that? The other thing I want to make note of, in addition to the conversations we've had here at City Hall between our office, obviously, the police department, the commissioner's office, this afternoon we'll meet with the business and bar owners down in the Blue Dome district. So looking forward to talking with them about ways in which we make obviously that part of town safe on the weekends, but also looking forward to having conversations to make sure that we reinforce to everybody who's coming downtown that downtown is still a place that is safe to do the things that you want to do. With that, I think we're ready to take any questions you might have.
We are streaming live, so if you have a question, raise your hand and a microphone will be sent to you. Tanya?
Thank you. A lot of people have told me it gets kind of rowdy outside of Reds a lot, and people are calling to maybe shut down Reds. I know you said you're going to meet with some of the bars and restaurant owners. Is that a topic of discussion or anything that's swirling in your head?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the solution right now is closing down any business. I mean, I think our goal is to make sure that we can ensure public safety, and businesses can be in business to do what they do as long as it is legal. But with the engagement of the business owners down there, I think what we're going to come up with are ways in which we can mitigate some of the loitering issues we have outside of those places. So I think it's going to be a team effort. But what I imagine, what I believe to be true, what I know to be true, is that the folks who are kind of enjoying those bars down there might see maybe a little different way in which we are moving people along, just to prevent things like this from happening. Commissioner, Chief, I don't know if you have anything to add there, but if there's anything you'd like to add, you're welcome to do so. Good? Chief, you good?
No.
Good.
Next question, Reagan.
For Chief Larson, you kind of touched on it, what stemmed this dispute. Was it just rival gangs and this led back to a 2022 homicide? Can you kind of explain what you were saying there, first of all?
What limited information I can talk about, homicide detectives have shared with me since the shooting early Sunday morning, these two individuals that started with a fist fight that transitioned to a gunfight with literally officers 20 to 25 feet away, 6 officers, began over a homicide that occurred in 2022, and they have been fighting off and on since 2022. Sometimes, and the one that was shot by police and wounded, and the one that passed away at the scene, both have multiple incidents of violence in their past history, gun-related.
Those are the two that were fighting?
Yes, sir.
So the one that was wounded, the one that was killed were the two that had the beef?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then number two, real quick, you're obviously facing staffing shortages right now with officers. Is the solution to some of this just having more officers downtown at these kind of closing times of the bars?
Well, it's not just closing time. This erupted more than an hour before closing time. But yes, having a staffing shortage does play into it. But all last summer, if you remember, we kept the entertainment district downtown safe all last summer. And over the past 3 years, our department, through identifying and actively prosecuting those who would pull a trigger on a gun, has reduced the number of shooting with intent to kill cases by 50% over the last 36 months. So we're reducing the number. What we see a rise in is young people with firearms. We have Where's Your Gun Wednesday on our social media platform every week, encouraging people to lock their firearm up, don't leave them in your cars. We see guns stolen every week, and we end up with an incident like we did last weekend with high-capacity semi-automatic weapons being used in a public venue that there's just no place for.
Mayor Nichols, you said this tragedy was preventable. In your mind, how could this have been prevented?
Yeah, I mean, I think more broadly, the broader issue around, how we address issues around community violence, right? How are we working with young people in communities that don't lead them down a path where things like this end up happening? So when I say it's preventable, I don't mean like this event, there's something we could have done this weekend necessarily. I think it's a broader conversation about the conditions of young people in this community. I think it's a conversation, like Chief said, about folks making sure their firearms can't end up in the hands of folks who should not have them. Yeah, it's absolutely preventable. There's a ton of things we need to do differently. I think we know some of those things. They take some time. But what leads two young people to decide that guns are the way to solve a dispute? I think that is wherein lies what is preventable, our ability to make sure that's not a choice that they decide to make.
Kevin?
Please, Chief, please. I just want to be clear. Have these individuals been identified as gang members? You guys are using the word group, so I just want to clarify. Do you know if these are gang members or not?
One of them was a certified gang member that meets the criteria of the federal and state government. Okay. One was. The other one was not, but both had been involved in violent acts in the past that dealt with firearms.
Thank you. statistically, do you know how downtown fares compared to the rest of the city when it comes to violent crimes like this? Do you have any sense whether it's greater or
Actually,
less
with
than?
the increased police presence we ran all through from Memorial Day to Labor Day last year, the violence in our entertainment district was really a little bit below the rest of different places in town, 61st Peoria, the retail district, anywhere else in town. But we constantly evaluate every event. We visit with our partners at the chamber to know what's going on as far as conferences coming in. We visit with our partners in Visit Tulsa to know where these large crowds are going to be, and then we appropriately staff them. Even with the staffing shortage, we run our officers pretty hard, usually all through the summer, to make sure that we have enough officers on scene to deal with anything that arises. And if you look at the video from early Sunday morning, you saw 6 officers that literally saw a fight break out, start walking towards the fight when one individual pulls a gun and starts shooting.
One last question. You mentioned 6 officers. Are there 6, how many officers are on administrative leave, and what is that typically based on? Do they have to have been an active shooter, or, well, how do you determine which officer would be put on
If an
administrative
officer
leave?
deploys deadly force, and it strikes a suspect or an individual, he is placed on administrative leave pending the investigation of that goes all the way to the district attorney, unless it's a McGirt suspect, and then it goes to the U.S. attorney until the district attorney and the U.S. attorney, if involved, clear them. This last Sunday morning early, there were 2 officers that discharged their firearms. 2 different individuals who were both shooting into a crowd of people to stop those threats.
Real quick for Chief, I don't think we've talked about this. Are there any outstanding suspects, or are these the 2 shooters that one was wounded, one was killed?
As far as outstanding suspects for early Sunday morning, the shooting downtown, not that I'm aware of. But we're still, the entertainment venues downtown have been really good about stepping forward and providing us with their in-house video. So we're still reviewing hours of video. So at this time, I don't expect any other arrests.
You mentioned something about a 2022 homicide with this having some roots in it. Can you elaborate on that? Do we know who the victim in this particular homicide was?
No, I can't.
Yeah, oh, you got one more. Okay. You good being down there?
Goes back in January, you mentioned, a partner initiative with a bunch of groups to help address some of those economic issues young folks are facing.
Yep.
Have you seen an improvement at all? I mean, I know we're here today because of a tragic incident, but have you seen improvements overall?
For sure. I mean, look, every day is a day where we see things that go well. Isolated events like this shake our confidence at times. But what should not be lost on any of us is almost every other day in the city of Tulsa, we have an event at the BOK Center. We have a baseball game or a soccer game at One Oak Field. We have a conference here. We have a parade here. We have so many things that happen here all the time, and they happen without incident over and over and over and over and over again. What we know about in communities, we may have some isolated events from time to time. But just this last week, the deputy mayor was at the Career Connect Awards at Union High School. I was at some events out north at TPS. Young people are doing amazing things, and so I think things are getting better every single day. But as it relates to what happened in this particular instance, as I said before, is that the isolated incident or is that the rule? I say it's the isolated incident. We have a world-class facility at the BOK Center that brings in concerts, events, all that kind of stuff all the time. And like I said, those things happen without incident. We have events down here all the time. Those things happen without incident. This is an incredibly safe place to be. We continue to make it safer. Like I said, I know the confidence that some people have, the sense of safety that people have has been maybe shaken a little bit, but they can rest assured that isolated incidents are not the rule here. The rule here is this is an excellent place to do all the things, including work with young people on a better pathway forward and come downtown for events and feel absolutely safe doing so.
We have time for one more question.
And some,
Jade has a question as well.
She said you go ahead. Oh, sorry.
With the event that happened on Sunday, Chief, if you want to answer this as well, are there going to be, are there any thoughts in terms of having extra security at the fest that's going to be happening this weekend, and as well as, is there anything that you want to share with anyone, whether it's, anyone coming from Tulsa or just outside of Tulsa, to kind of just give them some reassuring, because when events like this happen, a lot of people, kind of want to avoid the area of Tulsa or even downtown Tulsa.
There's absolutely no reason for someone to want to avoid Tulsa. If you look at violent crime, it's down across the board. Downtown Tulsa is one of the safest venues in our city. The events you're talking about that are upcoming, we've already long had them on our operational board. Last year you heard me refer that we upstaffed the downtown entertainment district from Memorial Day to Labor Day. Our summer months, when kids are out of school, colleges aren't in session, we upstaffed. We've already planned on upstaffing this summer. We are starting that upstaffing, and when I say upstaffing, putting more officers in that area starting this coming weekend, which also coincides with Mayfest, which has always been one of the best events in Tulsa every year. It showcases our local artists, and it will simply be a safe venue to be at. Both private security and Tulsa Police will be on site during the entire event.
Yeah, I'll answer that one on behalf of the city. So for every special event permit and every special event that the city puts on, we coordinate with a security team. We require a security plan in place before the special event is approved by council. Some of those are done by off-duty officers. Some are done by private security. Mayfest has adequate and probably more than adequate security in place for the event this weekend. So we know that there's also some events during the week that aren't necessarily special events, but I would not hesitate to come down. I will probably be at Mayfest myself. I wouldn't hesitate to bring my kids, my family. And I can't reiterate enough what has been said by all of the individuals and folks behind me. Downtown is a safe place to come. We should not live in fear of one incident. And I hope that everybody can make it down and enjoy all of the wonderful entertainment and activities that this town has to offer.
And then one last one, Mayor Nichols. I know you mentioned the community's kind of rattled right now, and you mentioned in your opening remarks about, your condolences and prayers to those impacted by the crash. But just one last question going off of that. Our youth, they're devastated. I know firsthand from my kids. Do you plan on going to the schools that, they're impacted by this? Because, the sports community here is small but mighty.
Yeah, I've talked to Dr. Johnson late last night, and I sent a note over to Dr. Federline this morning. And I told them anything I can do. I want to make sure that it's helpful. I don't want them to think that it's performative or anything like that at all. I want to make sure that it's helpful, and I'll do anything those families, those young people, those schools, those parents need. All of our hearts are broken for them. And I think Tulsa does a great job of rallying around people who need us, and I'm surely going to be on board to do that, and I know so many people will too. There's very few times something happened. I see that many folks who I know personally who are talking about it on social media and those types of things, and so I'm going to do whatever I can, and I think everybody else will as well. And with that, I want to say thank you for everybody coming out. As the commissioner said, I also will be at Mayfest having a really, really good time. I might be sharing a little too much information right now, but turns out I have a long-standing childhood crush on Maya, and there's nothing at all that's going to hold me back from seeing her on Saturday night, and I encourage everybody else to come out as well. All right, thank you guys.